I've just come back from a classified briefing that won't leave my mind. What I'm about to share with you might fundamentally change how you understand our position in this cosmos. Before we start, there's something I need from you. Drop your city name in the comments below and let me know. Have you spotted anything unusual in the night sky lately? Worldwide, NASA is quietly gathering data on anomalous observations. And your contribution is more significant than you think. For decades, the laws governing reality itself have been my focus of study. From subatomic particles to the fabric of space and time, I've explored the equations describing everything. My life has been spent contemplating extraterrestrial intelligence as a possibility, always viewed through theoretical physics, always approached with the cautious optimism characteristic of a scientist who grasps how empty and vast the universe seems to be. However, 3 weeks ago, an event occurred that shook me to my core, something suggesting we aren't merely searching for alien life. Already, we may have been found. The object under discussion carries a designation unfamiliar to most people, 3I Atlas. For casual observers, it was listed as an interstellar comet, a traveler from beyond our solar system, tumbling through the cosmic void along a trajectory that would take it past our sun before returning to the darkness. Upon its initial discovery, astronomers were thrilled. Interstellar objects are uncommon. Throughout all human history, we've only confirmed a handful. Oumuamua arrived first, that peculiar cigar-shaped visitor defying simple explanation. Borisov followed, more conventional in nature, more comet-like, and then 3I Atlas arrived. Initially, nothing about it seemed extraordinary. The trajectory calculations followed standard patterns. Ice and rock signatures showed up as expected in the spectroscopic analysis. As all interstellar objects must, it was traveling fast. Gravitational interactions from star systems we cannot even identify had propelled it forward. Around the world, scientists tracked it, measured it, cataloged its properties with the methodical precision defining modern astronomy. Then, without any warning, everything shifted. The call came to me at 2:47 in the morning. On the other end, the voice belonged to a NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory colleague. Someone I've known 3 decades. Someone whose judgment I trust completely. Shaking was evident in his voice. 3I Atlas had begun emitting signals. He informed me, not random noise, not the natural electromagnetic emissions all celestial bodies generate. Signals that were artificial, structured, repeating, intelligent. At first, I couldn't believe him. In physics, you must understand, skepticism is how we're trained, demanding extraordinary evidence when extraordinary claims are made. Alien beacons were what pulsars were once believed to be, until their true nature became understood. Fast radio bursts remained mysterious until magnetars were traced as their source. The universe contains numerous phenomena mimicking intelligence without actually possessing it. So, the questions any scientist would pose. I asked, had instrumental error been ruled out? Had independent telescopes confirmed the observations? Had natural explanations been considered? To each of these questions, the answer came back yes. The same thing had been detected by multiple observatories. Radio telescopes in Australia, optical arrays in Chile, space-based instruments operated by agencies. Rarely in agreement, all were observing identical signals emanating from 3I Atlas. Undeniable were the patterns, binary sequences, mathematical constants, prime numbers arranged in configurations that couldn't possibly be coincidental. And underlying everything, a carrier wave of such precise frequency that advanced technology could be its only source. California was my destination the following morning. By my arrival at the secure facility where data analysis was underway, the room had filled with some of astrophysics' brightest minds, along with experts in signal processing and Zen. Electric was the atmosphere, charged with excitement mixed with dread. First contact was what we were witnessing, not in the distant theoretical future we'd always envisioned, but now, today, within our lifetime. In real time, the signals were undergoing decoding. Around the clock, teams of cryptographers and mathematicians labored, feeding data into algorithms designed for finding meaning within chaos. And slowly, with agonizing progress, a message started to emerge. A greeting, it was not. An invitation, it was not. A warning, it was. Something the entities behind it termed the Great Filter was what the message described. For years, this was a concept we'd theorized about, yet never fully grasped. In our cosmic evolution models, a barrier preventing civilizations from reaching the stars is what the Great Filter represents. Behind us is where some scientists placed the filter in the improbable leap from simple chemistry to living cells. Ahead is where others fear it lies. Technology is so powerful, it inevitably destroys those who create it. Nuclear weapons, artificial intelligence, nanotechnology gone rogue, climate collapse. Endless are the possibilities, and terrifying is each one. But according to what 3I Atlas transmitted, our entire thinking about this has been wrong. A barrier is not what the Great Filter is. A quarantine it is. Empty is not how the message explained the galaxy. Teeming with life it is, with civilizations existing for millions of years, with technologies appearing to us as magic. But these civilizations discovered long ago that catastrophe results from indiscriminate expansion. Dangerous, aggressive, unpredictable. That's how they characterize young species. Without restraint, they consume resources. Every discovery gets weaponized by them. The knowledge and power accompanying galactic citizenship cannot be entrusted to them, so a system was established by the older civilizations, a protocol. Species reaching certain levels of technological development undergo monitoring. Detection of their radio signals occurs. Tracking of their space probes happens. Assessment of their trajectory takes place. And if characteristics marking them as threats show signs, if nuclear weapons are possessed, if artificial intelligence gets demonstrated without ethical frameworks, if their own biosphere continues being destroyed even as means for leaving it are developed, containment happens, not destruction. Containment. With a word that translation algorithms struggled to render accurately. The message described this containment, but in English. The closest equivalent was shepherding. Being shepherded is what we are, kept in our cosmic pen until maturity arrives, until our violent adolescence gets outgrown, until demonstration occurs that we can be responsible stewards of the accumulating power. A comet is not what 3i Atlas turns out to be. A probe it is, a reconnaissance device dispatched to our solar system for assessing our current state, for measuring our technological signature, for determining whether beyond the danger zone humanity has progressed or in self-destructive behavior remains mired. Meant for our reception were not the artificial signals we detected. Status reports, they were transmitted back to whoever sent this object, informing them of what had been found. And apparently, what was found has triggered concern. In that briefing room I sat as over me the full implications washed. Wrong was every assumption I'd made about our universe's place. Alone, we are not desperately searching among the stars for intelligence signs. Watched, we are being evaluated, judged, and not favorable, it seems, is the verdict. Around me, the scientists debated handling this information. Immediate disclosure some argued for sharing these findings with the world. Secrecy others insisted upon, fearing mass panic, social collapse, the unraveling of every institution we've built. Both perspectives I understood. How do you inform humanity that of our own fate, we are not the masters? That passing a test we didn't know we were taking is what our future depends on, administered by intelligences beyond our comprehension. But most haunting to me was not the message itself, about consciousness and free will. It was the question it raised. If monitoring of us is occurring, if guidance or constraint of our development by forces beyond our control is happening, then for human agency, what does that mean? Truly, our own are our choices. When decisions about technology, about war, about our planet's treatment are made, are genuine human consciousness products what those decisions are? Or by subtle pressures we cannot detect are they influenced? These questions the message did not answer. Perhaps it could not. Perhaps in terms of individual consciousness, the way we do, the beings who sent 3i Atlas do not think. My career I have spent studying higher dimensions, mathematics, parallel universes possibility, quantum mechanics, strange loops. But for the existential vertigo of realizing we might be living in a cosmic experiment, nothing prepared me subject to rules we never agreed to, judged by standards we do not understand. An official announcement NASA has not made. Classified, the data remains accessible only to those with the highest security clearances. But through the scientific community, whispers are beginning to spread. Questions are starting to be asked by astronomers, not part of the initial analysis. Why, from its predicted trajectory, has 3i Atlas deviated slightly? Why, to the latest data, are certain observatories being denied access? Why are conferences being canceled and papers being delayed? Contained forever, the truth cannot be. In the internet age, in a world where like water through every crack in the system, information flows. Measured in weeks, not years, is secret's half-life. Someone will leak. Someone always leaks. And when they do, what we have learned is what the world will have to confront. About this, I think constantly now. When at the night sky, I look up, the serene beauty of distant suns I no longer see. A neighborhood populated and watched, I see. Eyes looking back at us, I see. Evaluating whether to join them we deserve or whether isolated. We must remain until worthy we can prove ourselves. And I wonder, to pass this test, what would it take to satisfy these cosmic shepherds that for contact we are ready? Ready to take our place among the galactic community. What would humanity have to become? A rubric the message from 3i Atlas did not provide. Clear metrics or milestones it did not give us, but between the lines, reading the implications of what was said and what was left unsaid, interpreting what they're looking for, I believe, I understand. Cooperation instead of competition they want to see. Long-term thinking instead of short-term exploitation they want to see. A species that has unified itself they want to see, that has transcended tribal loyalties and national boundaries, that has learned to make decisions based on the good of all rather than the advantage of a few. Solved, they want to see the climate crisis, dismantled our weapons of mass destruction, created artificial intelligence serving humanity rather than replacing it. wisdom they want to see, and perhaps the most terrifying part of all that is, because when, at our world today, I look at the conflicts tearing us apart, at the environmental destruction we continue inflicting, at the technologies we develop without considering their consequences. Sure, I am not that this test we can pass. Sure, I am not that the transformation they are demanding we are capable of. Clever we are. Yes, ingenious, creative, but wise and open question that remains, and continued have the signals from 3i Atlas. Every few days, new transmissions get detected, each one slightly different. As if based on real-time observations, its assessment, the probe is updating. Patterns correlating with events on Earth, some of the scientists monitoring these signals claim they can detect. When a military conflict occurs, in one way the signal modulates. When a breakthrough in renewable energy happens, in another direction, it shifts. When a new milestone artificial intelligence achieves, the carrier frequency changes. As if not just observing us 3i Atlas is, but to us reacting, adjusting its report based on whether toward maturity we are moving or away from it. Another unsettling possibility this raises. Passive is not what if the quarantine is. What if the ability to intervene, these cosmic shepherds have to nudge our development in certain directions, to prevent us from crossing lines they've decided must not be crossed by us. In history, there have always been moments seeming inexplicable. Technologies failing for no clear reason. Leaders changing their minds at critical junctures. Disasters averted by the narrowest of margins. Coincidences were those, or interventions were they? I do not know. No, we cannot. I do not think. Too vast is the gap between our level of understanding and theirs. In cosmic terms, children trying to comprehend adults' motivations, we are. Their actions we can see, but cannot fully grasp their reasoning. What I do know is this. Given have we been a gift. Not the gift of easy answers or comforting reassurance, but awareness gift. That our choices matter, we now know not just for ourselves, but for among the stars, our entire species' future. Being evaluated, we know. And roughly what the criteria for evaluation are, we know. Agency, that knowledge gives us. A target to aim for, it gives us. Whether to meet this challenge we will rise or whether we will fail is the question. Condemned to remain in our quarantine until we destroy ourselves or until finally we learn the lessons every mature civilization must learn. About my grandchildren, I think. About what kind of world they will inherit, I think. With wonder will they look up at the stars, knowing that among the cosmic community its place humanity has earned. Or with longing will they look up, knowing that on our own planet we are prisoners watched, but not welcomed, judged, and found wanting. Follow this channel as the universe's final warnings, we continue decoding. As from 3i Atlas, more data emerges, as with these revelations, the scientific community grapples. What we learn, we will share. But more importantly, what it means we will explore. For physics, what it means. For philosophy, what it means. For you, what it means. About something I want you to think. If by intelligences, far more advanced than ourselves truly being judged, we are. If on demonstrating wisdom and maturity, our survival depends. Then about the way you live your life, what does that say? About the choices you make, about whether to humanity's collective maturity you contribute or us back hold. Abstract questions anymore, these are not. Urgent they are. Personal, they are. The most important questions we have ever had to answer, they are. So with this, I leave you. If that every action you took was being observed, you knew that on whether collectively we could demonstrate wisdom the future of your species depended differently. How would you live? What would you change? And more importantly, starting now, what will you change? Below, comment. Your thoughts tell me. Whether this test we can pass you believe, tell me. What you see when at the night sky you look, tell me. Now that alone we are not you know. Now that being watched, we are you know. Because just about science, this is no longer about who we are, this is and who we choose to become. And ticking, I fear, is the clock.